Put the hand on knee. When you go into position, you have the dropping of the knee. Then you have to release. When you sit back, the knee structure stays there. This hip relax, this thigh position change. You don't go forward, have to think how to go forward wrongly. You don't go forward this way. Not this way. Okay. And when you release, you don't go back this way. Your hips relax, thigh position change. If the hips not relaxing, you push up. Okay, so in the turn, okay, the hips relax. You don't turn by pulling the hips. Okay, not by pulling the hips. Huh? Put the hands on the hips here. Put the hands on my thigh here. See? Sit back. If you pull the hip, you end up this way. The body becomes like that. Okay? I want you to focus on that. Huh? And then when you turn, use the hips turning. Don't pull the hip this way. Okay? So the hip is here. Don't pull. Once you pull, you go to the side. So you do the exercise. Once you pull, you go to the side. It's down intentions. Okay, but there must be loading up. There must be drawing back in the ball stand. It is loading up. This is where you borrow the energy from the earth to release. Any spring, you want to have a rebounding force, you need to compress to get the rebounding force. But this compression is not from the knee. You don't move from the knee. You move by relaxing ankle, you drop the knee because the ankles are relaxed. You don't drop the knee by bending it. The movement is from the knee itself. Okay? And when you sit back, the hips stay softened. Okay? So the same thing when it goes to grasp the asparagus is here. Foot in, I need to drop this to have the loading up. Because this is to the corner, so I have to release and turn to the corner. Okay, when I sit back, I'm not doing this. My knee's not dropping. My knee stays there. Hips relax, thigh position change, soften hips. When I move forward, I need to drop that, loading up. Then I need to have the release. When I sit back, the knee stays there. When I go for the push, again I need to drop. Then I release. When I sit back, the knee is not dropped, but hips are relaxed. Okay, I put hands on my front knee and my front hip. In the number 5 exercise, when it goes into positions, when you release this doesn't, you don't go this way. You don't push yourself forward. So when you first learn, you tell the student, a beginner, you tell them to have a small push of breath, a very small push to let them know the force from the feet. But once this hip is, the moment you feel that the hip is going, the moment when you do this, you feel that the hip is coming up, you stop doing this, you hold the structure, sustain the structures. So when the hip is open, you can have that release and still maintain the hip down. Okay, this must stay down, it must not go forward as well, because I'm releasing the force. Okay, thanks. And second, when you step into positions in the ball stand, so if any position it goes in, so from here, okay, you release, put the hands on my knee and my thigh. You soften hips, okay? When you turn, you do not bend your knee anymore. Okay? Your knee is really in position. When you step forward, you don't bend your knee anymore, otherwise you end up low and pressing your knee. So the knee is in position. When you step, the same thing here, you don't bend your knee to step. Okay, so the knee structure is there. You just relax the thigh muscles. You soften the hips. Okay. The hips turn the foot in. Whenever the foot is in position, you are always between the corner of the position you're going to face. Then what you do is you don't bend the knee this way. You drop the knee and soften hips. Okay. You drop the knee and soften hips the same. So you're not doing these things. I need, yeah, because it means has a longer hand. Then you put on my knee. Yeah, don't worry, I'll control myself. Okay, when you square, when you square, don't bend this way. Okay, this is not loading up. Loading up is the back knee drop both hips settle down, the front knee doesn't drop. Okay, you don't do this. That is bending. Okay. So what happens when the foot is in position? Relax the ankle, drop the back knee, soften hip. The front knee doesn't drop. And the front knee must not go back. The release is, you release the compressions of back legs. Just release. You come on this side and put it on the knee and the hips. Just release them. So if foot in position, you load up. Okay. You're not pushing. You just release the compressions. The very small movement is release of the force. Release the compression. If you push up, okay, it's just like you load up a spring. Instead of letting the spring rebound, you pull out the spring, then there's no rebounding force. So drop this, release the compressions. It's only a very small movement. When the movement is small, the force is very strong. And you do not push yourself forward. Okay, this loading up is sinking. Okay, this is you draw into ankles. Okay, Paul come. See when Paul push on my arms. Okay, I draw him into emptiness. There's disconnect. Then I release. If I want to send him far, I send my mind further. My mind go further. Okay, thanks. That's why in the issue of the force, when you practice pushing the issue of the force, okay, I ask you to project the mind beyond the person. In the form, when you sink the ground under the feet. When you release the sand, just only to the fingertips. Just only to the fingertips. In the practice of issue, whether it's a slow push or step in issue, any issue, when you release, you must project the point as far as you can behind the person. Okay? First you think there's a wall, just release. You feel the mind swing into the wall. So you send the mind up. Okay, he's training the mind. You see the mind. When you release the force, you must be completely further relaxed and focus in the one direction. Focus in the directions you want to send the person off. So when you train this, next time when you move, your awareness in this direction, the person goes the direction to you. You send them to. Yes?
The amount of the dropping of the knee when going forward equals that of the amount of the release of the compression of the back knee when releasing.
Yes, it's no more than that. Of course, you load up, yeah, then you release it. You will do more than that, that's strong. Right. But the main thing is, when you drop, you don't have bending your knee, then that's strong. When you bend your knee, your hip is pressed already, it's no more relax and sit. It became immobility. So it's only very small amount. So actually, when you move once a year, you just drop the knee and soften hip. That is the amount. Okay, it's similar to the amount that you release up here. It's just that when you do the number 2 exercise, you settle down, you lay in the down position. This is a loaded position already. Okay, then it comes up. That's enough. It's the same amount as you feel when it comes up. Okay, that's why you see in our system, we don't open the form and move the arms out. We always connect to the ground to come up. My teacher said you must always connect to the ground so they roll the energy from the earth. You see, you look at animals, when they want to jump in the deep, they always have this motion of dropping before they jump the same thing first. Okay, but in the release, in the form, any movement in the form, you must not end up the body going forward. Body stays back to release. Okay, it says in the Tai Chi, in the understanding of the turning posture, it says, absorbing the force like drawing the string of the bow. Releasing the force like shooting an arrow. Absorbing the force means when the force comes, you take it into the ground. Okay, take it into the ground. Just like when you shoot an arrow, the string of the bow, you have to draw it back first before you release. You don't just push the string. Okay, so this legs is like the loading up, just like drawing the string of the bow. You draw the string of the bow. So Put the hands here. Okay, when you push in, I don't just push. I need to drop to borrow the energy from the earth, then I release. Okay, so there's a dropping, absorb, release. Okay, so the loading up is absorbing. Okay, okay, when you release the force, it's like shooting an arrow. When you shoot an arrow, the bow doesn't move. The body is the bow. The same in our system, in all the release, our body doesn't move. Okay, you shoot an arrow, you don't move the bow stays there. Okay, and when you shoot an arrow, you do not look at the arrow. Okay, you look at the target. Okay, you do not look at the arrow. Okay, this is a string. Okay, this is the bow, this is the arrow. Target is there. The focus is there, not her. Okay, that's why thanks, you need to focus. But when the person goes off, you don't just cut off, you must follow them off. You know, when it goes up. It's not if they goes up, just relax. When people shoot an arrow, you see people shoot an arrow, they just shoot and then they walk off. No, when they shoot, the mind is still at the target. Same thing here. When the person disconnect, you must still follow them. Your awareness must still follow them. It's not that when they start to move, then you stop. Okay. But in the form, any movement when you release, you must make sure it goes into the fingertip. Okay. Always must send the fingertip. When you sink, you must sink into the ground under the feet. That's why when you look at the internal movement, okay, you cannot work at everything at one time. You cannot work on relaxing, sinking, releasing at one time. You have to work on one thing at a time. Once you get the physical structures correct, okay, when you work on physical structures, when you work on the accuracy of the physical structures positioning, you can start to work on the loosening up, relaxing. The first internal thing you have to work on is to feel loosened, and not tight and tense. Feel loosened up first. Because if you are tight and tense, nothing goes down. You can't have sinking. Okay. When you have the loosening up, you have the relaxation, then the next thing you have to work on is sinking. Sinking in position, not in transition first. So every movement when you go in position, you let it go into the ground under the feet. You don't even think of releasing. Okay? Work on the sinking. So here is transition, you don't think of it then. You only think of sinking in position, into position first. Once you can get sinking position, the next stage you work on is sinking into positions. You work on sinking in transitions into position. So work on sinking in transition into position. Once you feel that you're sinking in transition into positions, okay, when you first work on sinking position and sinking in transitions, even when you arrive in position, if your sinking is not in the ground under the feet, you don't move into the next movement yet. You let the sinking, say if I'm here, my physical movement is finished, but my sinking is still not really in the ground, I must let it go into the ground first before I move the next movement. So once I come in here, maybe physically I'm there, but my sinking is not completed, I must let the sinking complete first in the ground, okay, then you move to the next position. When you look on the internal process, the continuity of the physical movement is not important. Important, you must complete this internal process first. Then as you progress, then your mental internal process will synchronize with your physical process, because as you progress, your sinking will synchronize. You don't have to be, it will naturally speed up itself. Then the continuity of the physical movement will resume by itself. Okay, so the next stage, after you can sink in transition position, the next stage is visualize the release. Every time you finish the sinking, you must feel that rebounds up from the ground to reach the body to the fingertips. You must visualize it. Say, when I finish my movement here, but my awareness is not in the fingertip, I must make sure that the release is finished at the fingertip before I move to the next movement. It's the same as the way you work on the sinking. Okay? When you release, if the awareness is not in the fingertip, you must let it go into the fingertips before you move to the next movement. Okay, then as you practice, the timing of the mental, of the release of the synchronized physical, everything will rise as well. Okay. The final stage in the mental process is to be able to, as you send awareness to the fingertips simultaneously, you must have awareness of the sinking. Another way of sinking. So the release and the sinking arrive at one time. Then you achieve what the classes say, when you release the force, you must be completely relaxed.